So take your time heading back. When you start to get into this relaxed Shavasana shape, give the body a couple of good breaths. Starting to let it flow for us, really easy. Use this as a moment to check in with yourself. Checking in physically, emotionally, mentally. Over this last weekend, we had quite a few cloudy days. And it's always exciting here that, when we can get even just a little bit of moisture. But sometimes that cloudy day kind of translates to the rest of our existence for those couple of days. It's almost like everything is a little bit slower and darker and colder. And so imagine in today's class, if there's any parts of who we are physically, emotionally, mentally, etc., if any of us feels like it's just cloudy and slow and dark, imagine that in our class today, kind of the goal is to help us to get to a space where our skies and our clouds are just a little bit more clear and a little bit more open. So I kind of think of this as, maybe we're going to start off class a little bit slower, trying to ease some of our stretches, taking our time, and then gradually we'll start to build up a little bit more of the strength side, a little bit more of the warming up and doing all sorts of fun things. But we're going to kind of imagine that we're just building that momentum. You don't immediately go from cloudy skies to just open, brilliant, bright skies. It takes some time to transition. And so that's kind of what our class will be today. Just imagining we're transitioning open in that way. So with that image, that idea in the back of the mind to lead us on, let's begin some of those nice initial stretches. So let's take arms all the way to the wall behind us. And let's allow shoulders to go right. And shoulders left. And take your time. No need to rush it. Just easing our body all the way over to each side and choose the speed that's perfect for your system. Beautiful. So coming back through the center, let's do our initial leg stretches. So right knee comes in, give it a little hug, maybe some ankle rolls. And start to take right leg up to the sky, let it stretch. And hook that right foot all the way over to the left, slide the shin in. And another good breath all the way in, all the way out. Then freeing out this leg, let's drop it all the way down. Second knee in, maybe a couple of ankle rolls. Leg up to sky when you're ready. And hook the heel over, slide the shin in. Another good breath all the way in and out. Let's free out this leg. Drop it down. Let's keep both legs inside for a moment. Our hands are gripping on to help our torso rise up. Then let's take our first good back bend. So I usually like the fabric to be clear down by my hips, but you can also do this with the fabric a bit higher up. You can play with different spots. And so then gripping on to the fabric, let your back start to slide backwards. You're okay. And this will be one where you just continue to enjoy the back bend as long as it feels good. When you're ready to come back in, you can stretch over both legs that are still inside the fabric, but just enjoy this. It's kind of our initial chance to get upside down. So we'll check if your hammock is open. A little bit lower. Once again, just keep on enjoying getting to be in that back bend. If it's still helpful when you're eventually ready to do that forward fold over 2 straight legs, you're welcome to go there. And if we're at the spot with the legs in, let's give our shoulders a chance to start to stretch. So we're gripping our right hand to our left leg. Left leg is trying to straighten out long. And then the left arm reaches up to the sky, it rotates back. And then bring that shoulder all the way back forward. Let's do 2 more cycles, up and back. And then forward. And then this last time, stay just a little bit longer, enjoying the twist. Good, return forward. Just let yourself dangle over the 2 straight legs for a moment. You can even bend the knees a little bit to make it easier on the low back. You're ready for second side. Now right leg is trying to straighten. Left hand grips over to it. And then right arm up and back. And return. 2 more. And the last one will stay just a little bit longer in the twist. Good, return. Let's ease the legs off the front. And then let's take our second inversion. Thumbs can hook on the back side of our hips. When we lean halfway back, grip back on. Let the legs go wide, and then we'll wrap them. Just let that spine hang so heavy. Know that if the fabric ended up in a spot that doesn't feel the greatest, come back out and you can shift where it ends up. And once again, inversions are really up to you. Don't feel like you're trying to compete with anybody. Don't feel like you're trying to have any sort of time goal. This is you listening to your body. Your body will help you know when it's time. might be some that know to stay upside down a bit longer, so that's fine. Those of us that are ready to be up will take a little twist, but if you're still upside down, don't pull a rush. You're welcome to still be here a bit longer. So if you're doing a twist with me, bunch up the fabric to the front first side. And that shoulder that opens to the back wall, let it continue to reach open, maybe circle around the head. And easing out of the twist to this side, we can bunch it up to the other side. Same thing, the shoulder to the back wall opens, maybe it circles around the head. Another good inhale. Exhale, return. Take our hands behind our back. Just a fun little shoulder neck stretch. Take your hands to the right hip and let the right ear drop over right shoulder. And up. Hands to left hip, and then left ear over left shoulder. That goes up. You can take a little boat pose, so balancing on the hips, the knees come up. And just sometimes holding here is plenty of work. You can even grab onto the fabric, but if this feels okay for your back, what we'll try to do to challenge it is let the legs trace wide and then join together up higher. So it's like we're tracing a diamond, and then wide and low. Taking that a few times, wide and up, wide and low. Maybe another 5. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good work. Resting the back for a moment. Take that floating child. And rising up, hands to the inside. Right knee in, grab around right foot. And let that right leg have a good chance to stretch up. Okay, if it's not all the way straight, this is just however much is feeling helpful for our body. Good, right leg down. Left knee in, hug around it, and let it rise up. Good, starting to drop it down. So from here, almost like we're continuing to try to get those clouds to spread out just a little bit, getting our sky a little bit more sunny. What we're going to do is start to do just kind of an easy little shoulder workout. So what we do to get into this one is we have to flip around onto our belly. So take our legs inside. It's kind of funky to get flipped around, but what we're going to do Go onto one hip, and then continue to kind of shimmy your elbows underneath you as you flip around onto your belly. Good. I know it's super funky to get over, but we made it, I think. We're just about there. Good. Okay, so elbows are underneath us. So keep on getting them under if they're kind of hanging out. And once they're underneath you, you can take a child pose. So kind of push your elbows down to lift the hips up. You'll have to shimmy the hips back to be onto the feet. And then just let the arms be on the front end of the fabric. You're taking a child's pose, thinking back. I love how child pose feels on that low back area, so give it a couple more breaths. And then when we slide the hands in, we're sitting up over our feet. You'll keep on gripping onto that back end. So get the hand, grip onto it. I like to spread my shoulders just a little bit, like my grip just a little bit wider than my shoulders. Good. And then we're gonna go up to a high kneeling place. So instead of sitting on our feet, we're gonna be kneeling up nice and high. Okay? So now think of keeping a straight line from knees to shoulders. So it's like a plank position for that area. With our arms putting some pressure into that back end, we're going to start planking forward so the arms start to slide out. You choose how far you go based on what you need to still be in control. And then when you're ready to come back, just squeeze the arms back in. We'll come back to that high kneeling place. So you get to choose how long you're out in that plank. Based on how your shoulders feel, you can choose how many reps you do. It's all up to you. It's just kind of an easy way to start building up some momentum for our body. We'll be here another 30 seconds or so. Maybe that's like 3 slow rounds for some people. Maybe it's a bit faster or a bit slower for others. Good. When we come back up after the last one, no rush if you're still in it. When we come back up after the last one, you have 2 options based on what feels good for your body. Either child's pose, sitting back onto the feet and just stretching forward, or belly flop all the way down. This is nice too because it kind of gives our spine some traction. It kind of brings us into just a teeny little back bend arch. So either way, whatever feels better for the spine, child pose or belly flop. Good, and give it a couple of breaths. Let the head hang. Any neck tension, try to just drop the head heavy down. Good, we'll take our fetal position. So reaching one hand up, help your hip to be stacked on top of the other to that side. And let's do some nice spinal undulations. You choose how exaggerated or how minimal this is, but the idea is gradually coming in and then kind of straightening the legs or even arching back. Maybe 2 more of those to this side. Any movements that feel good. Good, and to get to the other half of the spine, you can either go through your back or through your belly. So let's take a 180-degree flip. When you're on that second side, maybe 3 or so slow times, whatever directions feel good. Even if you pause at one angle, because it just feels awesome, that's okay too. Beautiful. When you finish the third one, let's come onto our back. We'll start to kick the legs off. And I'm gonna give you two options based on what feels best for your body right now. You could either go for a bow pose, so that's a back bend. Our feet are dangling this time. When we go backward, maybe we grab onto our feet. So that's option one, if that feels awesome. Option two would be the vampire pose. So getting the fabric up to our shoulders, take our hands to grip, feet push out, and we rise upside down. So you get to choose based on what your body says, based on what would be fun, based on what would feel good. Anything that kind of metaphorically helps our clouds to continue to open up for us, you get to choose. You're still enjoying this, take some more time. There's no rush. If you're out, you can either go through Shavasana or this floating child pose, just to give the spine and the blood pressure a little break to get back to kind of like a nice neutral place. So most of us are getting to that point where we're pretty good with our recovery. So if you still need more time, don't feel like I'm rushing you out. You can still take your time, gradually sitting up and then gradually coming out. But if things are feeling okay for you, you'll help me know by sitting up. Good. And from sitting up, we'll eventually lift our way up and out. Awesome. Let's give our spine, especially our back, a chance to stretch here. So take the fabric up under your shoulder blades, and then you'll walk back to take all the slack out. Once you're here, try to make sure that the fabric stays under shoulder blades instead of cutting off our circulation of our arms. So then from here, let's walk our hips forward until our hips are under plumb line, and then just release all muscular effort of the abs so that our hips just drop down. There's lots of variations you can play with if they feel good, such as knee circles, just kind of like frog leg circles circling around. You could tilt the knees to a nice little twist to each side. You could take an ankle up onto the other thigh. So there's lots of variations. Just take as much time as feels good here to just play around. Eventually there will come a time when it's kind of like our arms are telling us, okay, I can't do much longer because my blood's starting to get cut off. So when you reach that point, you'll let me know just by straightening the legs back. But as long as you still want to play here and it's still feeling okay, feel free to enjoy it. Good, and if you're not back already, go ahead and walk yourself back. We're gonna do from here, again, building up that momentum, just a little bit of core stuff. So kind of coming back under plumb line, you're gonna work your elbows into the fabric on each side, and then your hand grips around. So elbows in, hands grip. So it's like covering up the elbows by all the fabric. Get right inside of it. Okay. So based on how your back and your core feel right now, I'll kind of give you two variations. To get into it first, we need to kind of squeeze our elbows into our waist and then lower down so that our elbows are caught. The first variation would be like the chair, and then you just lift a leg up and then lift the other leg up. That would be the easier one. To go to the harder one, you're gonna dangle your knees and do a full crunch of the knees up and then dangle down. So up to you which variation you wanna play with. Kind of start to work your way down into that spot. And then either leg lifts, straighter leg is harder, so you choose, or full knee in. I'll take another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you need more to balance yourself, that's okay. When you're ready, just walk back. Let's spread out our arms, clasping our hands behind our back. Just pull those arms into a nice shoulder stretch. Good. Walking back to free to come up to stand, to take the fabric out in front of you. And then walking up to it, let's grip about as wide as shoulders or so. And then just start to ease our way forward. Anything that feels good is welcome here. So maybe we're kind of wagging our hips left and right. Maybe we're taking more of a cat-cow, rounding up and down. Just ease into any of those spots of the spine that need some attention. Good, then just a hair of strengthening for the glutes. Stay here in this nice flat place in front of us. Bring the left foot under your body. Right leg swings back and bends the knee, so it's like foot above the knee. And what we're going to do is pulse that foot up and down, going for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good work. Bring that foot down. Take a moment to rest right in the center. Good. And then second side, take your right foot underneath you. Left leg swings back and then bend the knee. Let's pump up and down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good work. Plant it back down, maybe a moment right in the center if it still feels good. And let's bend the knees and roll our way up. Good work. Let's step around in front of our fabric. We're taking the shoulders inside. Our thumbs are gonna hook around the back side of the fabric. And make sure you're starting off under plumb line right now, not too far back. And so from here, keep the fabric across the sacrum, not sitting on it, not up at the low back. It's that part that kind of covers right across the top of the butt crack area, that spot. So we're keeping the fabric, our hands active to keep it there. Then just one foot steps back. This makes it so we can bend our knees and lean back into the fabric, lock it into place on that spot. Tiny little tiptoes forward brings us back under plumb line, and then kind of simultaneously hands up, knees wide, wrap the feet. Give your spine another moment just to hang. Let the knees be a little bit more bent. Okay. Yeah, and then so when you head back, like send the knees. Yep, that's it. Okay, so from here, let's keep our right ankle exactly where it is. Left leg straightens out. And then continue to send it behind your body. Once that left leg is behind your body, let the knee bend. If this is as much as your spine can take, that's fine. If one hand or both hands want to try to aim for the foot, this would be our chandelier. Try to get the fabric a little bit lower down your back. Just leave the right foot. Now all of us release your hands from that foot. Leave that left one behind you just dangling. Reach up, grabbing the fabric, and even walk your hands above that other foot. So it's like kind of like a half dangling spot. Yeah, see if you can just go around the outside though. That's it. Wrap it. This is giving our head just a moment to get some blood pressure back to regular. Okay. Sometimes we do a sequence from here, but I think we'll head back just to get the second side for today. So go ahead and drop back down. Wind your left leg. And then let's take some time for that right leg to have a chance. So open up the right leg, swing it behind, and then take that same chandelier. Good. Leave the leg for a moment, reach up, grab the fabric, come up to this half spot again, giving the head another little break. Okay, when we head down one more time, we can wrap both legs. You can choose if you want to stay a little bit longer or if you're about ready to head out. If you want to stay, just give it a couple more breaths. Just enjoy that length for the spine. At any point that you're ready to head out, you'll just come super slow with the core, but it's up to you when that point is. This is the important thing with aerial. Just listen to your body the whole time. Do what you can do, and we build up from there. Proud of ourselves. Right now we're just giving our head enough time to make sure everything feels good. We're not gonna like black out by standing up or anything. Good. So if it feels like we're at that point, we're safe to be up on our own. Walk backwards, free your arms out, fabric in front. If you need more time, or even if you're upside down, that's fine. Give it the time you need. Let's get into some nice leg stretches. So let's start to take right leg out in front. Whenever it's in, you choose. Maybe you're sliding down today, just easing into that low back, or maybe you're sliding up to take more of a split action forward. Your choice entirely. Beautiful. So rising up, let's hop forward, pretty much under plumb line. And then start to let your right leg open out to the right. If it doesn't stay, it kind of wants to return forward. That would be a sign you need to hop forward just a hair more. If it swings back, that would be a sign you're too far forward. So find that spot where it just kind of floats to the side. And then what I like to do, you could play with balance, but what I like to do is bunch up the fabric in both hands and then just slide the right hand down, the left hand up. Again, if this is enough, just stay. If you want more, you can do more of a side split. It's up to you. Good. Now just the left hand grips the strand that's closer. Kind of bending the knee, rotating the leg back, send that leg behind you, and then the right hand grabs the other strand. Good. So one hand on each side. I'll give you two options. You can play with dancer's pose, lean forward, kind of kick the foot up, or more of a split action, sliding the hands up, kind of straighten the legs as you lean back a little bit. This one's a really deep back bend. It's up to you if that feels good for the spine. Good. Either way, let's come back over our leg and then kind of ease through the hip as the leg comes out in front of us again. To switch sides, you can either just step this leg out, step the other one in, or do the swinging switch. Step one in, step one out. So your choice. Good. We end up with a second leg in front of us. Same first option, maybe slide down, or maybe slide up to do splits. Whatever feels better. Okay, rising spine up. Let's hop forward. We're trying to find that spot where we can balance with the leg kind of just floating out to the side. So it might take a couple of practice runs to find that perfect spot. When you get there, bunch up both strands in both hands. Left one going down, right one going up. Maybe stay, or maybe a little bit more weight into that side. Weight back over our leg. Right hand grabs the closer strand. The leg starts to swivel around behind us, and then left hand can grab the other one. Your choice once again. Are you maybe playing with dancer, trying to balance forward a little bit? Or are you sliding the hands up, trying to straighten the legs back into splits? Whatever feels better. Good. Weight over our leg. Take time to ease this leg all the way back forward. Maybe a swinging switch just for the fun of it, but we'll end up with both legs coming behind, just standing on the ground. Okay. What we're gonna do from here is play with a hip hang going into standing splits. So take the fabric across your hips. We really want it to be on bones. If it's in the flesh of the waist, it gets to be way too uncomfortable. So it's right across the hip bones. And then maybe like 1 or 2 steps forward to take some slack out. And then bend at the waist, drop the hands down. Take 2 or 3 good steps back until your hips are right under that plumb line. So sometimes it takes a little bit of adjusting to make sure it's comfortable here. So if you need to adjust a hair, that's okay. From here, let's play with our standing split. So the idea is right leg needs to wrap around the fabric to help you split up. So we want it to be on the outside instead of inside. That'll help it safely wrap. So I always kick my leg wide first. And then when I bend the knee, I try to catch the toes on the fabric. If it doesn't quite happen, you can float the other foot for a moment, but then you'll want the foot to go back to the ground. Good. Once you've got the foot kind of hooked more or less, if you're there, sometimes this is all we play with is trying to get up. But if you make it, maybe the right leg straightens up a bit more. And then we're trying to like lean our torso closer to that straight leg on the ground. So that's what makes it closer and closer to that standing split. Good. One more breath on the first side. And then bend it back down. Release. Second leg, go wide to wrap. Yep, you're totally safe to lift up the toes for a second, catch it, and then come back down. If you're here, maybe the leg straightens up. Maybe walk hands a little closer, you're getting the torso closer to the thigh. Sometimes this is really intense right where you're at, so don't feel like you have to push it. Good, when you're ready to drop it back down, let the leg release. You can stay with down dog for a bit longer if the hips are still doing okay. You could go for hip hang, hugging around the shins or the knees. Or if at any point you're ready to come out, you'll just walk your feet up to the top of the mat. Just slowly ease your spine up. Flip the fabric around behind you. And we'll just catch ourselves again. And know that if you're in the hip hang, don't feel any pressure. You're welcome to just hang as long as it still feels good. As the majority of us are out, I'll keep on heading forward, but if you're here, just literally just keep on enjoying it. So let's give our head a little bit more time. So maybe hands support the head. My favorite thing to do is bend one knee and then just super lean to the one side. And then eventually straighten that leg, bend the other knee. This is all just whatever feels good for you. So don't feel like you have to do this if anything else feels better. In fact, that pressure, that massage we've got across our hips, this is one way to kind of ease out of that stress, that shake. Good work. So with head feeling good, if we're here, make sure fabric's under shoulder blades, and let's walk back forward. Release the abdominal muscles, our hips are dropping down. And then let's heel toe our feet as wide as the knees will go. Good. From here, let's straighten our right leg. And then let's straighten our left leg. Beautiful. Go back through the center. And this is going to be kind of a funky transition, so feel free to watch first and then copy me. The idea is legs kind of straighten out, just whatever easy angle they can go at. And then hands reach up. I grab tightly so that when I start to shift my shoulder blades out, I can just ease my glutes all the way down to the floor. Good. So once you're here on the floor, you can have some options. Sometimes the back needs us to just lean back, so that's okay. I personally love to wrap my hands around and clasp my hands, and then try to have a really straight spine leaning forward. So play with whichever angle feels good. If you need the knees to be bent or whatever, that's fine. Let's give this a couple more breaths. Good. Straightening the spine up. Let's swing this left leg to be out in front of us. We're going to lean to that left side to tuck the right leg behind. Good. Once that foot's tucked behind, let's head into a little quadricep stretch. So grip up as high as you need to start leaning back. We should be feeling that right thigh speaking to us. So if you don't really feel anything, scoop your tailbone under, and that will usually bring us right into the stretch. Good. Start to swing over to the left side to free out the right leg. And then we'll go to the second side. So lean over to the right, tuck the left foot, and then lean back. Beautiful. Start to swing over to the right to free out the other leg. And then you can use the fabric or you can release the fabric. Let's just give that low back a chance to just ease into a simple stretch forward. Any amount of bend to the knees can help. Don't feel like it has to force into any shape. This is just the stretch that feels good. Good. So this is that point in class we would normally start heading to Shavasana. So listen to your body. Occasionally, our body tells us, I'm going to take a grounded Shavasana today. So you can just lay on the ground and that could feel good. If you know that your body needs some extra stretches before Shavasana, you can take any stretches. Otherwise, if you know you prefer to be in the hammock, you're welcome to head up. Again, any even inversions that you still need before Shavasana, you can take them. But if you're ready to head all the way in, you can do the floating Shavasana too. Just head in, lay back. Just let your body have that chance to just relax and just release. Especially if that's what our body knows is going to be the best thing for us to be. So again, motion, stillness, whatever is helpful. Take your time, explore, until sooner or later you feel ready for rest. No rush to get there. So here we're going to begin to deepen the inhales, the exhales. We can start introducing little movements back to the body. Maybe the arms go to the back wall, shoulders right and left. Maybe some of us want the fetal position, rocking over to one side, curling in and arcing back, or any other movements that feel good. Bring the fetal position maybe 3 or 4 to one side before you take the second side. Just keep on listening to the body. Maybe give it another 3 or 4 breaths. Whatever feels good, take your time. Eventually we're working our way up to a seated place, but there's not necessarily a rush to get. So whenever we're ready to be up, sooner or later, we'll have our hands joining together in front of the heart. And we do another check-in with our body, tuning into how we feel now. Maybe there's some levels of us that feel like the clouds have cleared up a little bit, whether that's physically, emotionally, mentally. And we realize that we do have that power within us, regardless of whatever's going on outside of us. Within us, we can always have kind of a clear, sunny day. And so with this idea to help lead us on, let's allow ourselves to wrap up the time we shared together today with the sound of Om. Deep inhale now. Om. May we be filled with light and happiness and peace. Namaste. Peace.